Hey friends, this is Circular Motion. I'm Paul, and you're watching the Hot Wax Half Hour. Everybody, thanks for coming back. If you're new and you like what you see, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe down below. That would mean an awful lot to me, and it helps me out. And also, don't forget to tickle the old notification bell. You can select what you want to see, whether you want just all notifications about the channel or whether you just want to keep up to date with what's new. So that's really good. If you're returning, thank you so much, and thank you for your patience. I know I've been very sporadic lately. I've had a lot to deal with, and I seem to have less time now. I'm not actually working, which is absolutely crazy. I don't know quite how that works. But anyway, here we are. So I've got some good stuff here, hopefully, I think. Some stuff I've been listening to, and some stuff that I've found, as I said sort of in previous videos. I'm kind of rationing out my vinyl finds until I get a job, although the pandemic, the lockdown is kind of over for now, hopefully forever, and so the record shops are opening. The bad news is my favourite record shop in the town may actually be closing due to certain things that are happening in the town here. So let's watch this space and see what happens. But anyway, without further ado, let's dig some vinyl. So, what have I got for you this week? Well, actually, I've cut it down just to, because it's been a couple of weeks at least since I last made a video. So I'll cut it down, try and do 6, because otherwise it takes forever, and I'm conscious that these always take about half an hour every time, and that's probably long enough for anybody to want to watch me droning on. So I'm going to go through a couple of records that have been entertaining me over the last couple of weeks, and I'll pick up the right pile, and then I'm going to go through a couple of iron fires as well, and actually there is a crossover here, and you'll see why soon. But anyway, without further ado, let's have a look and see what's been taken at my turntable. I'm going to start with what may be an odd choice, but I've got Youngblood, and I can't remember what this is called because it's not actually my album. Hang on. The Underrated Youth. There we go. Sorry about that. I did actually make a note of it, but I'm old and my memory isn't what it used to be. So this is a 2019 LP. It's more of an EP. Only 6 tracks on it, 3 tracks on each side, but it is really surprisingly good. Now, why am I listening to Youngblood, you might ask? Because I like to diversify. I like to see what fellow kids are listening to, but also I'm taking my daughter to see him in October, so I thought I'd better get a little bit familiar with her. So yeah, it's actually surprisingly good. Although the first track, Brain Dead, did kind of put me in mind of Arctic Monkeys. It's got that same kind of Sheffield twang to his voice and that same kind of delivery, but it's a decent album. It's a nice pressing, and yeah, I love that photograph on the cover. Absolutely love it. So yeah, check it out. Next, this is kind of like a blast from the past for me. I found this album a little while back and snapped it up on eBay for about £5, and I'm kind of dropping it in because it's not really something that you'd be desperate to see in the vinyl find section. But Jeff Love. Now, when I was a kid, I had a couple of Jeff Love themes. I had a James Bond theme one. I had action film theme one, which was all sort of war films like 633 Squadron and Battle of Midway, I want to say. I don't know, I can't think of any other war films. But I remember the cover, and I had this one. Although this one, I remember it being very different. I remember it being quite sort of a disco-y kind of album. Maybe it had that cover too, I don't know. But anyway, this album is surprisingly good. Now, Jeff Love was a dude that seems to have quite a big career. He's worked with big names, including Shirley Bassey, Howard Keel, some other people. He's done quite a lot of stuff. He's got quite a big discography, actually. I was just surprised at just how big his discography is. And this is a Music for Pleasure. For those of you from the 70s may remember Music for Pleasure. They did all kinds of just compilations, really, of different bits and bobs. And Jeff Love was probably, one of their biggest stars, I would say. But this is it's a great. I mean, I love science fiction. I love film themes, full stop. I love soundtracks and stuff. So this was quite at the time when I was a kid, this was a brilliant album to have. Star Wars, UFO, the TV series, Star Trek, which isn't a very good working, Barbarella, which is really good, Space 1999, Thus Sprak Zarathustra from 2001, The March from Things to Come, Thunderbird's theme, Princess Leia's theme, Doctor Who's TV theme, When Worlds Collide, and Mars, the Bringer of War, which obviously was, I want to say Gustav Holst. Yes, Planet Sweep, but this was actually used as the soundtrack for a British TV show called Quatermass, or the Quatermass Experiments. So, what kind of sets this apart from usual soundtrack albums is this is kind of like easy listening. So, if there were a smooth radio for classical music, which I know sounds stupid, but this would be the kind of stuff they play. It's kind of like easy listening lounge music, elevator music versions almost. Really good, quite laid back, a little bit of a swing to them, some groovy sort of like guitar in it, and yeah, check it out if you ever get the chance. I think a couple of tracks are on Amazon Music, so yeah, give that a go. Next, this was another record I've had a little while, The Good Rats, and this is a band that actually surprised me. This was a wildcard purchase. It was £5 in a Record Hut. Now this itself is a 1978 pressing on the Radar label. I shall show you what the Radar label actually looks like. Can you see there? I think. Hang on, I don't want to touch the grooves. So, not that way here, that way. So Radar. Apparently that kind of swirly bit in the middle does say Radar, and it's quite a solid kind of rock and roll album. It's not heavy rock, it's not sort of your general radio friendly stuff, it's just your typical kind of 70s off the reservation dad rock. It's not the kind of stuff that, I mean, I never heard of them until I saw this album sitting around somewhere, but it is actually really nice. There's some really nice arrangements on here. It sounds really good. Better than you'd expect it to, looking at these idiots on the back here, and just check out this dude's beard. I mean, what the hell is going on there? But yeah, it is. It's a killer album actually, and I am going to try and hunt down more of them. So if anyone's got any recommendations in terms of the Good Rats, things I should check out next, just hit me up in the comments below. That would be brilliant. Thank you so much. But yeah, interesting album. They, like I said, they had quite a big discography, and I think Bruce Kulick, who played with Kiss for most of their sort of 80s and 90s career when they had no makeup on, he joined them towards the end of their career, I believe. But yeah, check them out. Really good, really good, surprisingly good. Next, another odd choice, and don't judge me, but it's Harry Styles' self-titled album, eponymous opus, would you say? And actually, this was also way better than it had any right to be, and way better than I expected it to be. I'm not a massive fan of Watermelon, whatever it is, Watermelon High, or I can't remember what it's called, but my daughter insisted I give this a go, and actually there is a maturity about the song. I mean, he's not written all the songs himself. He's written about 2 of them or 3 of them, I think. The rest of them are collaborations. However, you know, this is a very good album. I can't deny that. And although I'm not going to make the comparison, he does put me in mind a little bit of early Bowie. He's just, yeah, there's something about Mr. Styles. Actually, you know, I think he could be a force to be not reckoned with, but one to watch over the coming years. This is just a bog standard 2017 album. It's got the record in that side and a couple of posters in that side, little like prints, which is quite nice. And it sounds really nice. You know, it is a really decent pressing. I was never a fan of One Direction ever. Obviously, Charlotte being the young girl she was at that point, and she's matured enough to sort of see him as a hunk now, and if she's watching this she will come and punch me at some point. But yeah, it's good, it's all good. Next up we have then Lizzy, and again I picked this up a little while back in the record hut when I first started collecting records, and it's, you know, it's an original from what I can gather, 1978 pressing. It's on the Vertical label, as you can see. It's in really good condition. You know, it is, and it's got some cracking tracks. You know, as a greatest hits album, it does the job. It's all the major hits of the 70s are represented there, including obviously Whiskey in the Jar, Old Jailbreak, The Boys Are Back in Town, who doesn't know that one, Dancing in the Moonlight, Waiting for an Alibi, Do Anything You Want To, Sarah, Chinatown, and Killer on the Loose, which is, you know, I mean, they're all, you know, and the artwork on the cover there is really good. You know, there's filling it. God rest his soul. And finally, almost, for what's been rocking up my turntable, I've got 6 AM The Heroin Diaries. So originally released in 2007. This was actually a 2018 reissue, and it's on, I shall show you. It's kind of like a smoky red. You see that? That's a hair, not a scratch, don't worry. One thing about having dogs is the hairs tend to get everywhere, but yeah, you can maybe see that's a nice kind of smoky red vinyl there. The downside is it's a horrible pressing, horrible. I would not recommend this to anybody, and I paid 30 quid for this double album. I wish I'd not bothered. I wish I'd just like hunted down an original single record release. I got it because it had some reworkings of Go With the Golden Eyes, Life Is Beautiful, and Accidents Can Happen, so they're kind of like acoustic versions, which are decent enough, but there's just a noise that you just can't escape on this album. Whether it's, I don't know, I've checked everything to do with my turntable, no other record does it. It makes this funny kind of noise. You can actually hear the needle in the groove. No, that makes no sense, because the whole point of a record is to hear what the groove does to the needle, but there's just like a constant rumbling, which shouldn't be there. So yeah, if Nikki Sixx, if you're watching, this isn't a good product at all, you know. And it's just a shame, because actually Nikki Sixx is very talented. 6 AM, personally, their whole output has pissed off everything that crew have done since Dr. Feelgood, because they just kind of really went downhill for me after that album, although you can't really top that album. But yeah, so it's Nikki Sixx, DJ Ashby and James Michaels of 6 AM, 6 Ashby Michaels, and obviously they got together originally just to do this, which was a soundtrack to his book, which was released in the late 90s, early noughties, I think, The Heroin Diaries, which is quite an interesting read. Then they came out with a couple of other albums, This Is Gonna Hurt, which is really good, and The Phenomenal Modern Vintage, which I can't find on vinyl anywhere. I've seen one copy on eBay, and some guy's trying to sell it for like $250, and that's way too rich for my blood. But you know, it is an album that, if it was a decent pressing, if it was decent, I would pay for it, because it is a phenomenal album. It really is. Treat yourself, listen to it on Amazon or Spotify or whatever you've got, whatever you like to listen to when you're on the move. But yeah, it's definitely worth checking out. Just don't buy that double album with the smoky pressing, because it's poo. And finally, to kind of lead into the whole vinyl finds thing, I'm gonna give you this, because I've listened to this a hell of a lot. I've only had it since Friday of last week, courtesy of my dad. Hi Dad, thank you ever so much. This is phenomenal. So this is Neil Young's latest release, and at the moment, I don't know if you're a fan of Neil, you'll know, but if you're not, basically he's going through his archives, dusting off old recordings, polishing them up, and sticking them out on vinyl, CD, etc. And I've said it before, and I'll say it again: you can never go wrong buying anything by Neil Young, because he always puts 100% effort into it to make sure it sounds perfect. It's one of his major kind of bugbears, and you know, I love him for it, because this is no exception. Recorded in 1971 in the Shakespeare Theatre at Stratford, Connecticut. It's a solo set. It's a solo acoustic set, as it says on the hype sticker there, and it is just exquisite. It really is. It's just him, his guitar. There's a piano there. I'm sure there's some mouth organ on there somewhere, but it just kills it. It really does. And there's some nice, like, intimate banter in between each track. But in terms of sound, it just sounds amazing. Honestly, you can close your eyes and he's sat in front of you, playing the guitar, singing to you, crooning to you, telling me why, old man, needle and the damage done, Ohio, dance, 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 a cracking acoustic version of Cowgirl in the Sand. There's A Man Needs a Maid and Heart of Gold medley, and on side 2 we've got Journey Through the Past, Don't Let It Bring You Down, Helpless, a nice acoustic version of Down by the River, which obviously doesn't ramble on like the electric version does, and it closes off with Sugar Mountain. And it is just beautiful. On the Reprise label, nice little sort of shot from the outside there, and you know, it's a nice little play on words in the title there, Young Shakespeare. But yeah, so this has been building up my turntable, and it would class as a vinyl fine, because it's something that's new to me. So again, thanks Dad. This I shall treasure this. And so yeah, so we're into the final furlong, and a couple of quite diverse choices. But I'm going to start with this one, Troubleman. So this isn't an original. This is a repress. This is a reissue rather from this was a 1972 album, but I can't find an exact year for its reissue. I think it's sometime in the last 10 to 20 years is all I can give you, I'm afraid. But it's really nice. It's on the Tamla label. There's a little download card inside. It's got the lovely sort of quirky cover with a picture of Marvin there, looking super cool. Can't see that. There we go. Looking super cool. And obviously it's a soundtrack to a film of the same name called Troubleman. And I just wonder, because like it seems that the main guy in the film, which I've never seen, is called Mr. T. I wonder whether Mr. T actually got his name from his inspiration for his character from that film. But why did I buy this? Because Sam Wilson, the Falcon, played by the amazing Anthony Mackie, recommends this to Steve Rogers in Civil War, is it? Civil War, Winter Soldier? Winter Soldier. He says this is all you need to know about black culture, everything you need to know, and it is a really good album. I wasn't aware that it was a soundtrack. I just thought, oh, give it a go. When it's Marvin Gaye, for God's sake, it's not going to be bad, is it? And it isn't. It's great. It's a lot more instrumental than I expected. Not a lot of singing in it, but it really is groovy. It's laid back. It's kind of like a late night, you've had a few whiskies and you want to get busy kind of album. So yeah, give it a go if you can. I'm actually interested in finding an older pressing of this just to see how it compares to that one. Next up, another odd choice, but the Carpenters. Got this for $5 from my favourite shop in the town there. It's got the cool cover. It's like an envelope. This is a UK pressing. This is an original pressing from 1975. It's a UK pressing, but it's got the American variant cover, which it has this. You can see there, but that's actually like a sticker over the front of the album. It's not actually printed on, which is nice. So yeah, that's the American variant, and I just realised that Richard Carpenter dude just looks a bit like Dexter, young Dexter. That's a bit creepy. But yeah, anyway, it's a compilation. Aurora, Only Yesterday, Desperado, Please Mr. Postman, which disgusted my son, my youngest son, no end when he came downstairs and he actually said, "What the hell are you listening to, Dad?" He judges. Hopefully you don't. I Can Dream, Can I? B-side, Solitaire, Happy, I'm Caught Between, Goodbye and I Love You, Love Me For What I Am, and Eventide. Now I bought this because I thought I'm going to give the Carpenters a go just to see, you know, are they any good? And yeah, they are actually. And this is a nicely produced record. There's no real information as to, oh here we go. I'm just so full of lies. I lie like a flatfish. So yeah, everything's on there. Engineered by Roger Young and Ray Gerhardt. Master engineer was Bernie Grundman, which is probably why it sounds so good. I didn't pick that up when I first bought it. I'm only just looking at it now. So yeah, if it was mastered by Bernie Grundman, then obviously you know it's going to sound pretty good. And it does. It is a real nice tone and definition right the way through it. Karen Carpenter's voice is absolutely phenomenal. The drums sound absolutely phenomenal. Does she actually play the drums? Yeah, drums, Karen Carpenter and Jim Gordon. No, I'm sure you'll have seen on YouTube, but there are some great videos of Karen Carpenter doing drum solos. And, you know, that's great, because there aren't enough women playing the drums. Emmanuel Caplet, she's an awesome drummer. If you get a chance to check her out, do so. But anyway, and Nandi, she's amazing, and that Japanese girl, a young girl whose name I can't remember, but she's also, I mean, for their age, they are phenomenal. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, the Carpenters, a great album. It was a great buy for £5. Fantastic, you can't go wrong. If you get a chance, check that out. And finally, I suppose kind of sticking with a old school theme, big hits, High Tide and Greengrass, the Rolling Stones. I've had this a little while, but I'm just digging it out now to share with you guys. And I'm just trying to think when I got it from. I think I bought it when I got the awful Roxy Music Record Store Day reissue that I've shared with you previously. I think I got them as a two for D. I can't remember. Buy one get the cheapest one free or get some. I can't remember. But I got it anyway, just to kind of make up the numbers. It was like the best option at the time. Now it says on the front there, the Rolling Stones DSD remastered, the way they were meant to be heard. So I would challenge that, because DSD means it's a digital file that's been like remastered. So they've taken digital files and they've tweaked it, and then they've stuck it on a vinyl, like an analog medium. They didn't have digital way back when the Rolling Stones were kicking out their jams, and so it's not really the way it was meant to be heard, in my opinion. Is it good? Yeah, it's alright. It's not bad. It's not bad. I think I paid about £20 all told for this, with this and the other records, the shit Roxy Music one that I got. And yeah, it's a nice little. Trying to show you there. It's a nice little record. Get my hair out the way. There's a little booklet inside. Pictures of the gang. A little bit of writing with words and stuff. Again, there's some more pictures of them all. Look at Bill Wyman there, looking quite young and non-noncy. That's very good. And there's Mick, Keith, Charlie, etc. Yeah, it's a decent album. It's a nice, it's a nice heavyweight kind of vinyl. Back picture, which is also the same as the record label itself. If you can see that there, it's the same picture. And there's some decent tracks on here. If you bear with me, I shall tell you what they are, because it's written in this little booklet here. So we've got I Can't Get No Satisfaction, which is an absolute timeless classic. The Last Time, As Tears Go By, Time Is On My Side, which is another classic. It's All Over Now, Tell Me, 19th Nervous Breakdown, Heart of Stone, Get Off My Cloud, Not Fade Away, Good Times, Bad Times, and Play With Fire. So yeah, it's like couple of original compositions there and a couple of covers that they did back in the day. And it's a decent album. It sounds all right. It doesn't sound anything special. I've heard better sounding Stones albums and better sounding records overall, but it is. I wouldn't pay more than 20 quid for it though, if I were you. It's up to you, obviously, but that's just my thoughts on the matter. But yeah, it is a nice album to have. And that, my friends, pretty much concludes where we're at so far. And I promise I will endeavour to be more regular going forward, because I've had a lot of stuff to deal with, a lot of toing and froing. But everything is back on an even keel now. And I shall be getting another video out back end of the week, the weekend. And hopefully you will join me. In the meantime, again, if you've liked what you've seen, please hit like and subscribe if you're new. And don't forget to tickle the notification bell. Again, if you've come back for more, thank you so much. I think I'm way over 40, not way up, excuse me, but I'm a 45 or 46 subscribers, which is nice. That would be great if I could get to 50. So please subscribe, that would help me a lot. That's like a big milestone for me, because I didn't think I'd even get 5, let alone 45. So yeah, it's amazing that people want to listen to me drone on about something I love. Oh, speaking of which, it turns out there's a record pressing plant opening not 20 miles up the road. So I keep bombarding them with emails because I can't find any vacancies listed anywhere, but I'm trying to get a job there, because imagine how amazing that would be to work in a record pressing plant. Yeah, so I've even volunteered to come and work for free for a few weeks to show them that, I am responsible, reliable, and keen and eager. So let's wait and see, but I'll keep you updated on that. In the meantime, everybody stay safe. I hope that everything's slowly starting to get back to normal where you are, and I shall see you real soon. Thank you, friends. Take care.